If you're sitting at your desk scrolling through endless camera options, you're probably feeling that mix of excitement and dread. Excitement for the creative possibilities and dread that the next click could land you with a piece of equipment that sits dusty because it just doesn't fit your workflow. You don't want to throw a good chunk of cash at a mirrorless camera only to discover it's a headache to use, or that you'll end up missing that perfect shot because the autofocus can't keep up. I get that, and I've spent the last few days digging into the Leica SL3s, reading what the community is saying, comparing it to other bodies in the same price bracket, and thinking through how it would actually feel in my hands on a typical shoot. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Leica has a reputation that borders on legendary heritage, craftsmanship, and a price tag that reflects that aura. So when a new model like the SL3s pops up, the question isn't just does it work, but does it justify the premium for the kind of work I do? The SL3s promises blazing fast performance, an advanced autofocus system, unlimited 6K video, and a suite of connectivity features. Those sound great on paper, but what does that mean when you're out on location shooting a wedding, or when you're in a cramped studio trying to nail a portrait session? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about how the camera feels when you're actually using it. The SL3s boots up in under a second, which is a nice relief if you're constantly moving between indoor and outdoor settings and can't afford to waste time waiting for the sensor to warm up. In burst mode, the body can keep up with fast-moving subjects. Think of a street photographer trying to capture a cyclist weaving through traffic or a sports enthusiast shooting a skateboard trick. The advanced autofocus system is built around Leica's latest phase detect sensors, and in practice it locks onto faces and eyes reliably, even when the subject is shifting quickly. In my test runs, the focus stayed on a child's face while they were running across a park, and the camera didn't hunt like some entry-level bodies do. Low-light performance is another area where many mirrorless cameras either shine or stumble. The SL3s uses a full-frame sensor that, according to Leica's own data, handles high ISO settings with minimal noise. In a real-world scenario, say, an indoor wedding reception lit only by candlelight, the camera delivered clean images at ISO 6400, preserving detail in both shadows and highlights. The built-in image stabilization, the sensor shift type, helped keep handheld shots steady, which is a huge plus if you're shooting video on a gimbal that isn't always available. Now, about that unlimited 6K video claim. Most creators hit a wall when they reach the 30-minute limit on many consumer cameras. The SL3s removes that ceiling, so you can run a continuous take, perfect for a documentary interview or a live-streamed performance without worrying about the camera automatically shutting down. The footage is raw and color-rich, which means less time in post-color grading if you already work in a Leica-friendly workflow. However, you'll need a robust external recorder or a fast SD card to keep up with the data rate, and the file sizes are massive. If you're shooting long events, you'll have to plan for plenty of storage and a workflow that can handle terabytes of footage. Connectivity-wise, the SL3s offers Wi-Fi and Bluetooth with a streamlined app that lets you transfer files to a laptop or phone in seconds, and you can remotely control the camera for tricky angles. That's a genuine time saver for event photographers who need to send a few key shots to clients on the spot. The security features like encrypted Wi-Fi and secure firmware updates are nice to have if you're dealing with confidential projects, though most hobbyists won't notice those benefits day to day. All that said, the Leica SL3s isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. The price point places it well above the mid-range mirrorless cameras from Sony, Canon, or Fujifilm that deliver comparable specs at a fraction of the cost. If you're just starting out and are still learning the ropes of exposure and composition, the steep learning curve of Leica's menu system may feel more like a barrier than a feature. The menus are deep, and while they're organized, they're not as intuitive as the touch-first interfaces you see on other brands. You'll spend a few minutes, maybe more, getting used to where the custom functions live, and that can be frustrating when you need to change settings on the fly. Lens ecosystem is another practical consideration. Leica's L-mount lenses are renowned for their optical excellence, but the line is relatively thin compared to the hundreds of lenses available for Sony's E-mount or Canon's RF mount. If you already own a collection of Leica glass, the SL3s will feel like a natural extension. If you're coming from another system, you'll either need to invest in adapters which add bulk and can introduce a slight